Welcome back. Today's guest is someone who lives and breathes the fire of women's ambition, and she's on a mission to make sure that fire doesn't burn out, but fuels something powerful. So, Midori Verity is a business growth strategist and founder of Fuel to Fire with 25 plus years of entrepreneurial experience and two successful exits. She helps founders master the one skill that drives revenue, sales, by combining AI powered role play with expert coaching. Her proven power sprint model, paired with cutting edge tech from Hyperbound, gives small businesses the tools to rehearse real conversations, handle objections, and close with confidence without sounding pushy or fake. I know I could use that. And inspired by her trailblazing grandmother, one of the first female politicians in Japan, Midori is building a legacy of her own, one where women leaders rise together. So, Midori, I'm so excited to have you here today and really get into this conversation.
I always love chatting with you and playing with you, Haley. So this is going to be fun.
Well, let's dive right in. So, I always like to start with story because I think that's really important to give our listeners a background of where you came from, how and why you're doing what you do now. So, can you take us back to maybe the moment when the ideal idea for Fuel to Fire, or even just, I know you have many businesses you've started. So, what gap were you seeing and what made you decide that you needed to do something about it?
Yeah. So I've owned businesses forever, for over, 25 years. I've done it all. I caught my season. In this last season of entrepreneurship, or this current season of entrepreneurship, I've really focused in on the micro and small businesses and entrepreneurs, and especially women in business. And I've seen some major trends with them. And that's the gap, right? When you start a business, you're always looking for that gap. So taking all my years of experience, taking all my years of pain and suffering and all the lessons that I've learned growing different businesses, and then now working with so many women, I've seen what it is. And it's just we try to do so many things and we get stressed out, we get burned out, and revenue doesn't grow despite working so hard and being brilliant. And so really where we're at now with my journey and my experience and what I've seen is on focusing on helping women improve their sales. Right. It comes down to, do you have a steady flow of consistent high quality leads, and do you know how to sell them? And so that's kind of the journey of what I've done, because just to back up, I've owned several businesses over the years, and when we've had our biggest growth stage, it's when we have all that down, right? We know our ICP, we have that steady flow of leads, and then are good at closing them. With women, it has to feel very aligned. It has to feel comfortable, right? And so that's what I help now with our clients.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that's so important. I know that sales is something that I continue to work on and improve, and I'm learning so much about. And I think what's really cool about the tool that you and I have known each other for a while, we're in community. Um, but like you said, women might have these leads coming in and they're warm and they want to work with them. But if you don't know how to sell to them, your business isn't going to move forward. You're not going to grow and you're not going to close those sales. So where is the gap that you find that makes sales hard for women and entrepreneurs?
I feel like there's a mindset thing going on, right? As women, through just, our DNA and the way that we're raised and, all those environmental type of influences, we're taught to be nice and to not push too hard. And we have all these stories going on in our head. So even though we may be talking with the client and we know, for instance, let's choose you, that they need to improve their copywriting. They're not going to get out of the gate unless they have a solid message and their copywriting is clear, concise, and impactful, right? So you know that you can help them. But this thing comes into us where we start second guessing ourselves and we start playing in our head of, oh, but I don't want to ask her for that money. She already told me that she's spread thin and she's not making sales and she's struggling. So I don't want to hurt her feelings. I don't want to make her uncomfortable. That's the story we play in our head. This is so common for women. Their story may be a little bit different, but when it comes to making the pitch and actually, trying to sell to the person, we get caught up in our own BS that's going on in our head. So, if you want to have a strong company and get your services out there and being able to help more people, sales is just that natural progress. So we just have to reframe the way we think of it. And it comes down to doing reps, right? Just practicing and feeling what works best for you and feels the most comfortable. So it becomes really natural and it just kind of flows from you. Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%. And I would say I know for me, like struggles that I've had personally on sales and in talking with some of my clients, the mindset is like the biggest part of it. It's all those things, those stories we're telling ourselves in our head when really we don't fully know the story on the other side of where the person's at. And if we genuinely believe that what we are doing can help them, we shouldn't be afraid to say the price of our service. We shouldn't be afraid to ask for the sale because it's in service of someone else.
Yeah.
So I love that you share that because I think mindset is a really big part of it. How would you say you help or your tools that you use can help women get over that mindset? Like I know you said practice and the reps that go into it, but I think sometimes it's even deeper than that maybe.
It is. And there's a point where just like practicing, like if you want to be great at swimming or dance or anything, you need to have a mindset for it, right? If you're telling yourself, oh, I suck at dance, I can't dance, right? And you're practicing, you're still probably going to feel like you stink at dance, even though you might get incrementally better. But instead, if you can reprogram your brain to be saying, I am awesome at dance. I am like a disco fiend, whatever it is, right? That self talk. And you have the tangible practice. So you're combining those two things and you're feeling the feedback of it, right? Like, oh, if I move my foot this way, or if I just kind of let my brain go, then I just flow better and my dance comes out better. So you have to have both. It's not one or the other. If you really want to grow fast, you need to combine the tangible and then the mental game, right? And so that's where this comes in. So, or, the way that we work with our clients, that's where this comes in. It's with the tool, the tool that we have, which it's from a company called Hyperbound, and it creates AI role playing bots for you. And it's a sales coach at the same time. So let me just kind of walk through how it works, and I'll come back to what we talked about. It will help you. Like if I know I'm having a call with you, Haley, I can go in and I can put in some different things about you and it will create a bot of Haley. And so I can go. It's really kind of crazy and
Well,
it's really neat, but it feels real. And so you can have a conversation with Haley and practice beforehand, and it will tell you certain things about the person. It uses incredible intel and data to find all kinds of information about your company and the person that you're going to talk to. So it crafts the conversation for you. But then after, when you're practicing the first time or the second time or the 10th time, you can go back and it tells you, oh, here's where you're not clear. It doesn't make sense what you're saying. So then you can go back and improve it. Right. And so you're getting that tangible part and you're seeing the difference because it's giving you a score. And so it's building up your confidence. It's helping you flow better and you're feeling more comfortable. So just to back up, when I was younger, I would get not even that much younger. 5 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, I was so scared to speak on stage. I was terrified. I had such a block. I knew that I sucked at speaking. And what would happen, Haley? I would get on stage and I'd blank out. I'd forget everything I was supposed to talk about because I was so in my head of, I'm going to forget. I'm going to stink. I'm not good at this. All that negative chatter. But then I went and practiced over and over and over again. Still to this day, when I'm getting on stage and I'm doing a presentation, I will practice probably 50 times before I get on the stage. But I'll tell you, when I do get on, I'm going in so confident because I know it so well. And because I've done so much on the brain work, right? It's combining the tangible and then the mental game. And that's really the secret sauce.
I love that. And I love when you share that story because I think it's so, like, I never would think that about you of like not being comfortable on stage because I think you're just so natural at conversation and showing up and building community and all these things. But it's so true. We all just have that mental chatter and sometimes those like negative thoughts that are going in my head. And I was laughing because I tell my kids the same thing, and maybe I should take it into consideration for myself. But then they're like, I can't do this, or I suck at this, or this is hard. I'm like, well, with that attitude, you're not going to be good at it. Uh,
right? We
because
can advise our kids.
it's
We need to do it for ourselves too.
Oh, exactly. Well, that kind of leads me to where I think you and I really connected was talking about the power of community and accountability for women. A lot of our listeners here are women building businesses. They're high achieving and ambitious. And so often we're trying to do all the things on our own. But I have learned through meeting so many incredible women through the community that you have built that it has allowed me to just grow, not only personally, but grow my business too. So maybe share more around what your community is or in all your years of experience, how that helps shape your success.
It's all about who you're hanging out with, right? It's hard. It's so hard to be. I've been business owner for over 25 years and it still is hard. And so the reason why I created the community was for myself. It started with me, just like the same with sales. I was going through struggles with sales. I'm like, I need something to help me. And the coaching isn't enough. I need something else, right? So it came from me. And what I was missing is I started my very first company with my husband, and that company grew really fast. And I got so burnt out and I couldn't stand it. And so I ended up replacing myself at the company and going off to start my own business. And that was scary and it was hard and it was lonely. And I didn't know what I was doing, even though I had already started a successful company. We just have all that self doubt and all the other things that come into play. And so I started going to events and meeting really cool people and wanting to play with them more, right? And just getting to know them better. And that's where it came from, Haley. It was like being lonely, not knowing what I didn't know, wanting to play with others who were as crazy as me and wanted to grow incredible businesses and having like minds. Because when I was talking to my friends who didn't have businesses, they didn't understand me, right? And you could see their eyes gloss over in boredom. And all I want to do is talk business because I love it so much. And so that's where it came from. It came from something that I wanted. I wanted to play with big players. And then it evolved into what we have now, which is Fuel the Fire in the community. And it comes back to the mission behind everything that I do. And it's to help women create profoundly successful companies. And to do that, we need that community. We need women around us who say, Haley, it's okay that you're struggling right now. This is normal, but here's what I did. Or you need the store open. I think I know someone who can help you. And that's really how you up level is by who you're playing with and having them reshape the way that you think so that you can think bigger. And it just becomes part of your regular DNA of how you operate. Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%. I think it's so true too, because a lot of times when you're in those groups or in those communities, and I know especially when I've come to your field fire calls, it just gives so much. Not, I don't even know if inspiration is the right word, but I leave those calls and I'm like, okay, I need to do the next thing. And it just inspires me to go out and do more, think bigger, and act. And also, so many times in those conversations, it's things that I didn't even think of that it's like, oh, yeah, I should be doing this, or oh, yeah, I could try that. And so, just those group and that community atmosphere brings so many things to play.
I agree. That's why I started it. The other part of it is there's so many groups out there that are about networking, and I want to build deeper relationships because I feel like that's what makes this enjoyable, right? Is who you get to talk with and who you get to know. And when you get to know someone on a deeper level, like Haley, I feel like I know you. You're a
Yes.
part of the community, but I see you all the time. And I hear, we talk about raw things, but it's in a safe spot. And that's where we really grow. To me, that's what I have found so useful is the deeper relationships.
Yes, and that different form of networking because like you said, we've all been to the groups where it's just that like everybody's giving their 60-second pitch and you don't actually really get to know anything or connect with anyone. And right now, I think in the world that we're living in with AI and all this stuff happening, relationships and connection and trust is like the number one most important thing. Before you can even get on to talk to them and make the sale and have the sales call, you're first building that connection with the people so that when you are ready to make the sale, they already trust you. They already know you. And that's what I have found is so important in these types of communities like yours.
Yeah, I think you've met a lot of the people in the and who are members and gotten to know them. And I know you guys hop on calls and it just makes it more fun because otherwise we're in our own rose using our rose colored glasses and we don't see what we don't see. And it's just tougher.
Right. And then you get to build referral partners like many of the women in the community. Like now I know, oh, I have someone I can refer you to, or I send people to them because I only want to refer to people that I know and trust that they're, again, going to be in service of the others. So I guess switching gears a little bit, a lot of our women on here too are building community that are listening. And so, maybe what are some of the challenges or things that you've come across that you're learning and want to share with some of our listeners?
For community building, yeah, it's who do you invite in? But then who do you not?
Mm,
Right? Sometimes organizers are so focused on building a lot, yeah, like a big community that they just want to let everyone in and they want to invite everyone. And it's always a yes. I feel that it's so much more valuable when you have a certain type of community, right? So it's not for everybody, it's for certain people. And I think you've seen, Haley, with what we do is we're really careful on who we invite in. They have to be heart centered. They have to be, and that sounds so cliche. Everyone says heart centered. But what I mean by that is they have to be in the game to want to help each other. If they're
mhm.
only about themselves, I can see it in a minute and they don't fit in because they will ruin the whole room. They bring down the whole room. But when you have women who are on the same trajectory and they are going after the same thing, but they really want to meet the other women, they want to build relationships, they're authentic, they're real, and they have businesses that are out to help others, then you get interesting conversations and you build stronger relationships because they're like minded.
Definitely. And I think that goes a lot to what I teach my clients and I talk about is it goes hand in hand with your message. Like the message that you're putting out there, those are the type of people that you're going to attract. So when we can be really clear and specific about who you want to invite into your community or who you want to invite into your program, the message is really important because you're calling in a very specific type of person.
Your message has to be clear.
And I know you do a lot on LinkedIn and reaching out to people. And something that I've been running into a lot lately is well, I guess this is an issue for me. I have shiny object syndrome. I'm working on it and nothing like, oh, I need this and I need that and I need this and I need that. And I am helping my people to simplify and bringing it back to simple, right? There's all these different strategies out there and funnels we can build. And while I help my clients do that, it's about choosing the right path that fits you and your business and how you want to build it. So while one thing may work for someone, it doesn't always work for someone else. So, what have you found that has been like the most successful or the best strategy that's worked for you in bringing in this specific type of women to your community?
Well, messaging is huge. Right? But the other thing is how are you going after those leads? Where are you finding them? And how are you segmenting them? And then what's the messaging that you send to them to invite them in? So having that whole funnel, you have to have a funnel. We've really kind of nailed that. We've been doing it for, I'll just be honest, my son owns a company that helps with the lead gen. And so he's really helped me learn how to go into Sales Navigator and put in the right specs in there so that we're attracting we're reaching out to the right people from the very beginning. And now there's other tools out there like Apollo and Clay and some of these other incredible tools that will help you find people who are warm, who are looking for your, like maybe they're typing in messaging, help me fix my messaging. I need a copywriter. And you can find these warm leads, reach out to them when they're looking. So those are some powerful ways to help you get the right people.
Yeah, I think that's helpful. And I feel like I need to look those up because one of my struggles in growing and just being transparent is finding those leads without having to do, I have a love hate relationship with social media and I do think it is important. And I've been leaning in a lot more to LinkedIn because I do see just how powerful it can be if you're making the right connections. But having those tools to help find the warm leads and then start those conversations. So you're not having to spend tons of money on ads and all the things that you're not really sure if those are going to work. So I think just having those tools can be really powerful in finding the right leads.
And I want to like just kind of pause there for a second because there's a bazillion tools out there, right? We see them all. I'm like, oh, wait, okay. I know I need this, but which tool do I use? Right? Which one's the best? And then you start
Yes.
using it CRM, like, oh, but everyone says this one stinks. And so I should be at this using this one. It's like, oh my gosh, right? And all of a sudden you have 5 CRMs and you're not even sure how to use any of them, right? I know, me too. I'm raising my hand as well. So preaching to the choir, figuring out what's going to be your flow, right? And then also diving deep into how do you use these to optimize. But even before that, it's focus. So this is the one thing that I really have in the last year, I have gotten so just tripled down, not just even double down. I've tripled down on this because exactly what you're saying, Haley, where we're like, oh my gosh, I need a new funnel. I need new messaging. I need a new website. I need new everything. I need to be blogging. I need to be doing video. I need to be doing all the stuff, right? No wonder we can't sleep. No wonder we're overwhelmed. And no wonder our businesses aren't growing at a faster speed. It's because we are doing too many things because we heard this or that or whatever, and that's kind of a tendency of women, also with men, but especially with women. And so figuring out where do you need to be zoned in on, get those done and have things in a strategic order, right? So that's why now we really just focus in on leads and sales. If you don't get those down, you're not going to grow a substantial business, right? And so messaging comes into there too, but leads and sales. Forget the social media, forget everything, forget your website. No one's even going to go to your website if you aren't getting the right ICP, the right client in for your message, right? So it's that. And that's the number one takeaway that I would say to anyone who's listening is get focused. Don't try to do everything, don't try to get every tool, but just really focus in on what are the needle turners that are going to profoundly move your company.
Yes, I was just talking about this with someone else. It may have been another interview. I don't remember, but when we try to do all the things, nothing works. But when
Mhm.
we can focus in on one thing, it can really move the needle. And it also makes it a whole lot clearer to the people you're trying to talk to. Instead of, I can do all of this stuff and here's all the ways you can work with me. When really we just need to have one solid offer to grow. I mean, you can have little smaller things to get them in, but having that one focus is so big. And also what you said about, leads and sales, if you don't have that part down, you're not going to have all the other things that oftentimes people spend so much time building before they even know if it's going to work. And so part of my process and when I help the women within my circle is let's validate the idea and the offer before you build everything, right? Let's do the market research and talk to the people and sell it and then build it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. It's
Yes.
so true.
You're validating it. But then in all of those conversations, we're getting so much gold for the messaging of, okay, what's really resonating with these people? What are the things they're saying and that you're saying that are making them get to the yes, I need this? And then that makes everything you're building a lot more clear and a lot easier for people to say yes to.
I mean, how many times, Haley, you being the copywriter, how many times have you come across a LinkedIn profile or talking with someone where like, I do this and I do this and I do that. And they have like five different things that they're experts at.
Yes.
And then no one's coming to them because people are confused. We don't know what you do. And you're being an expert in everything means you're an expert in nothing, right? People like you who really help them hone it in and perfect it and making sure that they have a strong offer or they have a strong product market fit, right? The messaging and everything else, it has to start there.
Yes. And it can also be really hard. Like I'm guilty of it. I've been there. And it's hard sometimes to see from the outside in, right? It's hard to look at your own business and really hone in and focus. But if you get the support of mentors and coaches, I think that's been so huge for me. And just having someone else that is also an expert be there to help, to hold you accountable, just kind of give that second eye instead of trying to do it all on our own.
100%. We're so much smarter together.
Yes. Yes. So I love that that's kind of the main strategy and focus is pick one thing and then really hone in, get those leads, practice their sales with your tools, all the things. And that's the way the business is going to grow. So with that, I think what you're doing, Midori, is really powerful. And I've seen it work with so many women. And so how would you say that for you and the stage that you're in? What does success look like for you as you're building?
Yeah, that's a good question because it changes depending on the stage that you're at. And I'm so fortunate to be at this level or this stage now where I can see it clearly. I've been through all the turmoil and the craziness. And what I would say success looks like is when you are able to live the life that you really want to on your terms. So if you love traveling, if you love being on a boat and sailing, or you love being with family and friends and cooking, whatever it is, it's not about the money, but it's about where you know that you've created the life that you want and you're able to live it as big as you want to. And so that's what I would say success is.
And I know you shared this story not too long ago. I think you took like a 3-week long trip to Europe. And whether I saw this on LinkedIn or was having a conversation, I don't really remember. But like you said, you were so in your business before that sometimes you didn't really give yourself the time or the space to do things like that. And now that you're able to take those vacations, your business was still growing, you're still making sales, and you were able to step away. I think that's ultimately what so many of the women want is to have a business that operates without us having to be in it 24/7.
And just that, what you're talking about, that's a whole episode by itself. But what I will say is the very first company that we started, we were running by the seat of our pants. We didn't know what we were doing. It grew really fast and we didn't have systems in place. We didn't have the basic business structure and I didn't even know how to be a leader and we had a team of 25. And so when we left, everything broke and it was an absolute mess. I know exactly what you're referring to. And it was terrible. And we come back and every time, probably for I don't know, 8 years, I come back from vacation and go, God, was it worth it? Was it worth being gone for the pain that I'm having to suffer now and during the vacation? And so that's one of those lessons that you learn from doing it or being around other people who've already been there. That's why you have a coach. Is that I learned, oh, I need really strong systems. Oh, I need to empower my staff so that they can run on their own and they're not coming to me or to one person to validate what they want to do. They have the confidence, they have the tools, they have the power to operate the best that they can in their role. So those are things that I learned the hard way. But getting back to what you're talking about, that's why I feel like I've stepped into such success is that I am now able to go on 3-week vacations. That was planned in 6 weeks. And we were able to go to Europe and fully enjoy it. And I was able to, my team did everything. I didn't do really anything. I did a couple or email messages, but that was it. So that's what success is. But it's really building it out, knowing what you want, and then making sure you're talking to the right people to help you build that out intelligently. Don't do it like I did because I suffered way too long. Uh, and I can show you all the battle wounds. But yeah, so that's what that whole article was about.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Midori. I think it resonates. And there's definitely parts that I'm like, yep, that's talking to me. Like just getting those systems in place and being able to find that success, because I think that's what so many of us go into business wanting that freedom, right? And so, how can we set our business up to meet that bigger vision and mission, but give us the freedom that we need? So, I appreciate you sharing your story today, and I will have all your links below. But if women want to work with you or get better at sales or join community, where can they find you?
Probably LinkedIn is the best place to go. So Midori Verity. That's where you can, yeah, just type that in and it should pop up. But LinkedIn is where everything is. And if anyone is interested, if you want to practice your sales, we can create a bot. I'm happy to do a demo with someone who's interested in that, where we can create a bot of the person that you want to talk to, and then you can practice. But yeah, if anyone's interested in you know getting ready for their next sales call, I'm happy to do that with them too.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Midori, so much. I always have so much fun talking to you. So thank you for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.